Alright, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be taking apart this Lancer Tactical pump action shotgun. This isn't going to go into detail on the gearbox. If you want that, put that in the comments and I'll do that. This is just a quick disassembly of all the outer kind of external sort of the stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. So first, I want to make sure everything's out. All BBs are good. Take that off and then. Alrighty. So. Alrighty. So as you can see, this is very a big shotgun, and so I'm gonna do my best to film what's happening and what I'm doing, and I'll obviously say it, but if something doesn't make sense, just put it in the comments and I'll try to do my best to explain it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. So first, what I can start off with is just unscrewing this with the normal flathead. So pretty. This usually you can do with your fingers after the fact. You can just pull this up. These do come apart and this bolt comes out, but I like to keep everything together, so I just put it back together, screwed it in a little bit so then it doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna put that aside. Alright, so now we're gonna start with this. Now this comes off fairly easily with just a Phillips head screwdriver. So there's two of these right here. If I can get this. Here that should be pretty. Not yet. Alrighty, and this should come. There we go. So what you're gonna want to do is just pull it forward off the front this side. I like to keep these inside where they were, just kind of like that, just to, you know, keep everything together. Alright. Now, so for right here, this just kind of unscrews. There's nothing really in this. This part isn't really important. This is just for looks. Take a piece of tape. So that's just this. This part also comes off. Then this end right here comes off too. Just unscrews. And again, this tube is completely hollow, so there's no really point to it besides looks. Alrighty, so now we're going to get this part right here off. So again, this is just a normal Phillips head screw. There's one on both sides. That all. Make sure to kind of keep these screws a little bit, not too separated, but you know, just enough so that you know what's going on. So like I said, there's one on either side of that. Put this over here. And then so what you can do with this, here, let me flip this around real quickly. What you can do with this is just kind of pull this up like this. I'm gonna pull it forward, and then there's two Phillips head screws right here. There's 4, 2 on each side. I'm gonna unscrew these. And the other side, like this. Be careful of this. It might kind of come up a little bit. Just hold it down. You don't want to bend any of the metal or anything. So now, after that, you're going to take out these 2 screws right here. There's 2 on each side. These are Phillips head again, by the way. A lot of these are Phillips head besides these. Alright. One side. And the other. This is a fairly easy gun to take apart. It's not too like an AK or anything like that. But so once you have that done, this is pretty much completely loose from the body. You can just slide this off like that. There are your 3 inner barrels. And then, so for this, I'm gonna bring you guys over here just so you can see a little bit more easier. So what you're gonna do is, this part can come off, so you're going to slide this back a little bit. Right when it stops, you can kind of pull down, come out. That's all off. For this part, you can just kind of pull it down and pull this off. So then there's the top barrel. And this you just kind of slide off. Just like that. Now, on here, there is... there we go. There's just 2 screws right there which hold this on, and there's 1 screw right there that holds that on. In here, this screw, I'm pretty sure this is one of these kind of things. So what you're going to want to do is unscrew these screws right here. There's Phillips head screws, but let me see if I can angle you guys down. There we go, like that. There we go. Careful, because there's washers right here, just like that. Remember to keep everything pretty separate from one another, because you don't want to. And then there's going to be these things right here. I forget what you would call these, but they screw on the bolts to the underside of this. Then right here, you would just unscrew that, and then the 3 things in there. I'm not going to take this off. I don't have a long enough Phillips head for this, but you would unscrew that right there, and then you would unscrew that with a little tiny one of these, and then the thing that holds these barrels straight, and there would come out, and then this could come off. There's that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get off the stock. This is very, very, very simple. All you do is this, you just kind of, this rubber part comes off, so if you bend it a little tiny bit, I'm trying to do this in the camera, it's very hard. There we go. Wow. not this hard when I took it apart before. You know what we can do? Get something under this rubber part. Oh, jeez, gosh. There we go. There, and this just kind of comes off. Apparently, very, very hard. So now, there's a Phillips head right in here and up here. So this is gonna take the stock, is gonna remove the stock from this part, and this is just gonna take off this back plastic part. So let me show you that very quickly. There's that. You turn it into like a super shorty or something like that. Find a way to attach another handle onto this, but yeah, like I said, this is just a beam. There's gonna be two little washers right here, and then yeah, this is just a long screw basically, in a sense. And then I'm gonna take this off, unscrew the screw that's gonna be right here. So then there's the screw, here's that, and then this is just hollow. Put that to the side. Alrighty. So now, right there. Alright, so now we're going to take this part off. So you need an Allen key, and then the other part. The number 10 Allen key, if anybody was wondering. I don't know if you know the numbers or not, but just in case if you do. The other side. Alrighty. So now what you're going to want to get is a little, maybe like a nail or a little pokey thing, because we need to take out a pin that's right there, and then a pin that's right in there. So I like to take a tape thing and a little something like that. But over this back one is fairly easy. Just push out like that. To the side. This one, it's easy in the beginning. You can kind of get it out a little bit, and then there you go. Just like that. So now, what that did is, now we can take off this part, the trigger guard almost. Right there, you can just kind of wiggle it out a little bit. There's that. Put that aside. And now we have this. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is take out these two screws right here inside the trigger. So this is just a normal Phillips head screw. That. There. This is just a normal Phillips head screw right in here. There's two of them. So keep these together. It doesn't seem to want to come out. Whatever. Make sure to unscrew both of them. Alrighty, there's the trigger. I like to keep those screws in there just because, you know, don't want to lose it or anything. So now, what we can do is pull this forward. Sometimes these little edges right here, they'll get caught on this. So just make sure, you know, nothing's sticking up or anything, and if there is, just press it down or cut it off. And you can, this will right here come out a little bit, or do what you just saw it do. And these two things might like fall or go down or something like that. That's completely fine. You know, we're trying to take it apart, so there's that. Just like that. Alright. This is where I'm gonna leave it off. Right now, I'll put everything back together. But please, if you want to see the this taken apart, please just say, you know, what the heck, why didn't you take apart the gearbox, or some comments and everything like that. But yeah, this is where I'm gonna stop taking apart and putting everything back together. So once you get this, make sure, like I said, these things just kind of come off. So that's what I do. Right here, see how there's a little hook right there? You're gonna kind of hook it under and fold it down, so that just stays like that. So now you're gonna flip it over to the other side with the spring. See that spring? There's gonna be a hook on the spring right there. Right here, there's a little hole. You're gonna want this side with that, the indent that's right there. You're gonna want that side out. And you're just gonna hook the spring around the thing. It's fairly easy. Just like that. So now if you just kind of hold that on there, remember to hold these chopsticks or whatever you want to call them. And then I'm gonna get the body right here. And slide it in, just like that, all the way to the back. And then you're gonna kind of pull that a little bit back so it gets into place. There we go. Just like that. So now you're gonna put the trigger back in. So put it like that. Right in there. Make sure the trigger's the right way. Like that. And then screw in both of these. Okay. Oh, there we go. Just like that. So now what we're going to do is put the trigger guard back in. Right here. So it's going like this. Make sure the trigger gets in. Fit that in there. Make sure you can see through, like through the hole perfectly straight, because if you can't, then you know you're not going to be able to get the pin through. So I think an easier way to do this is get this up. All you're gonna do is just pull this back as come up, and then push this in, because this is gonna have to get right there. So if you push it in like that, there. So now I don't know if you guys can see it like that, how you can see through. That's what we want. So then you're gonna take the big pin, this one, stick it through there. You can hit it a little bit. There we go. And then we'll finish that off a little bit with like a hammer or something like that. But I'm gonna put the tiny one in really quickly. Tiny one in this hole right here. And this one's pretty easy. You can just like press it in or get a little something just to get over the rough part. But anyway, so now fold that up and get a hammer or something and kind of, there we go, just like that. Now we're gonna grab the hex screws or the Allen key screws, whatever you want to call them. Screw them in. These don't have to be super tight, but tight enough so then, you know, gear won't move around or the gearbox won't move around or anything like that. I'm gonna put this one first, then I'll put the stock. I know it's out of order, but you know, who cares? So, we're gonna start with this, the top barrel, the one that's gonna go over here. So, we're gonna put this on here. So this is gonna be a pretty tricky part because you need these things. I don't know if you can really see. I'll try to. Those, they need to go on the other side of this. So they need to go in here. So this is going to be a little tricky part, but however you find you can do it easiest, do that, you know. It's your preference, whatever's easier for you. I have kind of a little bit bigger hands, so if you have smaller hands, it might be easier for you. But anyway, first of all, there are 2 washers that should have came off. So what you're going to want to do is line up the washers like that. Take out the screws. Line it up. Line up the holes of the washers with the hole of. This is the hard part because it's a round surface and it's weird. There we go. Alright, so now, like, nope. Jeez, I can't get this. Alright, there we go. So now, you want to make sure the arrow wants to be pointing down the barrel. So line it up with that. Get your screw. Drop it in there. Get a screwdriver. Just kind of get it going in there. Alrighty. So now that's partially in there. And you can kind of poke a screwdriver just to make sure the washer is on there, then put the other one in. So now this does, like you see right here, it does screw into the barrel, but these are just for extra kind of support almost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger to the second one and just kind of hold it there on the bottom. And I'll screw this in, and I'll see if I can spin it a little bit more. The bolt. See if I can spin the bolt a little bit more to tighten it. And with this one, you want to kind of feel where it is, and make sure it's kind of flat, so then you can screw this tighter onto it. So hold it there. Oh, I missed it. Oh, missed it again. There we go. Alrighty. So that's screwed on there. Now we're on. Alright. So now we're going to put this part back together. So this is a lot less complicated. A lot less complicated. You're going to get this barrel, the one with the holes on all the sides. You're going to put this. Going to put it like this, actually. So with this oval closer towards the threads, like that. So then, what we're going to do is, you want the threads going down the end of the barrel, just like that, and then you kind of push this up into it, and make sure these holes are aligned. These and these, just like that. So now, and make sure this is on the top. This top part, you won't be able to spin this or anything. Alright, so now, once you have that part done, you're gonna put this on. And you're gonna want these little flap things to be farther behind, so kind of scoot it up in there and then pull it forward, just like that. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to attach this, or this, to this. So, stick these through here. And now here's sort of a tricky part. I'm going to have it like that, right? And you're going to want to make sure these things go through up here on both sides. So, screw it like that. And then right here, they're going to slide in right up here. So, just make sure they do that on both sides. You can kind of pull this back a little bit. Or if you can't really see very well, pull it back in there. Just like that. So now, here's a part I can't really show you all that well. Inside here, about 3 circles that I showed you, the barrels have to kind of go into that. So what I do is, I take guide rod, or one of the barrel uncloggers. I'll take a flashlight right here. Take a flashlight. I'll stick this down the barrel to like right here is about where it is, and the barrels, I'm gonna try to move them around on most of the barrels so then they'll fit into the 3 each. And once you get down there, once you look down the barrel with a flashlight and stuff, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. You have to move the barrels around to get it into it, but it's not too hard if you understand what I'm saying. Once you look at it, you'll see it. So I'll be right back and get that done. Alright, so I just got that done. Now we're gonna screw in these 4 screws, 2 screws right here and 2 screws on the other side. Very quickly. So these screws are these ones, tiny pointed ones. Really quickly, so make sure this is all the way up. And screw these in really quickly. And there's the ouch. So now, what you're going to do is slide this back, and then attach these 2 screws to either side. These screws look like this. This lighting is very bad, I'm sorry about that. Trying my best here. Alright. So this goes in straight. There we go. Go. Both sides really quickly. Alright, there's that. So that's on there. So just to get this barrel on really quickly, we're going to get the this part right here. We're gonna just screw this on like this. Make sure this part is forward, not this part, the one with the ring around it. It's just, and really quickly, this part screws into here. And then this part screws up to right here, just like this, like that. Alright, there's that. So now, can put that away. Now, putting this on. Remember to, actually first, we have to put in these screws right there. There we go. Right there. There should be the last 4 screws that you have. You've done everything right. Screw these in really quickly. Alright. Remember, both sides of this. Alrighty, so now, what you're going to do, putting this in. So, get these tiny screws right here, these, and what you're going to do is, this side right here is going to go like that. So, I can show you it. Put it over like that, and slide it down just like that. Flip it over, put the 2 screws in, then it's your Phillips head again, so just like that, there we go. These don't, I don't know how they did it, but the screws screw in, but they don't really stop, like, you know how most screws stop when they're tightened. These, I'm pretty sure you can just, like, tighten forever. I don't think it's stripped or anything, because it doesn't come off. See, if I try to push it forward, it doesn't come off. It's weird. I don't know, it's probably witchcraft. Anyway, so now, what we're going to do is we're going to put together the stock. So, move that down. So, right here, we're going to put this part on like this. Alright, this should sit up a tiny bit. Alright, can't push down anymore. Take the 1 long screw, put it in the very bottom, screw it in just like that. This doesn't have to be super tight, you know, this isn't like an essential screw that much or anything, because you got the 1 really long screw that really ties everything together. But anyway, so now, this is going to be a tricky part to show. I don't know how well this will do, but, so, what you're going to do is you're going to take this, you're going to kind of have to play around with it until you get it perfect, like that. Now, with that hole right there, these washers are going to stay at the end like that. I put this through, and you're just going to kind of play around until you get it, and then kind of screw it in, or try to screw it in with your finger a little bit before you genuinely get it, you know, and then just kind of screw it in. I'm sorry, I can't really show this because it's pretty, because the shotgun's very big, so, you know, like I said, but there we go. Now, just gonna screw that in. This part doesn't come off or anything. And all we're gonna do is take this shoulder stock and just kind of push it on around it, you know, pull it all down, and there we go. And that should be everything. Or, actually, nope. This part right here. Kind of open that a little bit, pull it down to kind of wherever you want it. Honestly, it's personal preference. I don't think it matters too much, you know, where the placement is on the barrel. But and there we go. That is it. Fully complete. Put the shell things back on. that. Yeah. There we go. There it is. Alrighty. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Again, please let me know if you want me to take apart the gearbox and stuff. Again, it's I haven't found any videos taking these apart or something like that. So if you want me to take apart the gearbox, please tell me and I will gladly do it. It might take a little bit, but you know, I'm completely fine with that. But yeah, let me know if you liked it, didn't like it, what I could have done better, and yeah, let me know if there's any other guns you want me to take apart, or if you want me to take apart these shells, or just anything, you know, or some questions. If you have anything, just please ask me. I'll be more than happy to help. But yeah, I'll do it for now. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.